Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, curator for Battleship New Jersey Museum and Memorial, and today we've got another video in our series about New Jersey and Enterprise operating together. Now, we've got these two artifacts, both on display here in Camden, and we went through and we finally found some photographic evidence of the two ships being close to each other. Well, since then, we've gone through the deck logs, and so far we have found a single mention of the two ships operating together. This deck log is from Monday, April 16th, 1945, which means that Battleship New Jersey and either 5th or 3rd Fleet, I don't remember which one at the time, are operating together off Okinawa. Okinawa was invaded on Easter Sunday / April Fool's Day, 1945, April 1st. And so this is approximately 2 weeks after that, and the fleet is still operating in that area. That means that these ships are about 2 weeks into a 3-month period of near continuous kamikaze attacks. In fact, one of those kamikazes will, in about a month's time, hit USS Enterprise, forcing her to return to the West Coast to go into dry dock. New Jersey leaves about the same time and also goes into Bremerton for her last wartime upgrades. While the Okinawa invasion might only be about 2 weeks old, the fleet had been operating in these waters for a couple weeks prior to that, doing work preparatory to the invasion, such as attacking the troops ashore, enemy troops ashore, doing diversionary raids on other islands to draw off defenders so they wouldn't know where the attack was actually going to come, and attacking airfields within range of Okinawa to try and suppress kamikazes before the slower merchant vessels and troop transports get there. At the end of the day, the kamikaze threat was suppressed to a much higher degree than it had been during previous engagements, but such as off of the Philippines. However, kamikaze attacks still result in the loss of 34 ships during the Okinawa campaign alone. So, on to the deck log here, and the one written record we have of these two ships operating alongside each other. 0 to 4, that is the watch, midnight to 4 a.m. Steaming in special cruising formation under boilers number 2, 4, 6, and 8. Course and axis 160 degrees true. PGC, speed 20 knots, 119 RPM. USS Enterprise is guide. The ship is darkened and in condition of readiness for action, condition 3A. Material condition yoke is set 2nd deck and above. Modified zebra, 3rd deck and below. 0023, blue tubes on all steaming boilers. Lieutenant Hayward, Navy Reserve, signed. So this is cool. This most likely means that Enterprise is the flagship, which is why she's being used as the guide ship. It just means that she's like the lead ship of the capital ships in the middle of this formation. Special cruising formation almost certainly is going to be some sort of circular anti-aircraft formation, given where they're operating. And so as Enterprise turns, the other capital ships will turn on her, and the ring of destroyers that are forming the outer picket escorts will turn based on that. It's interesting to see the ships doing 119 RPMs, 20 knots, with just half of the boilers lit. It's pretty common during normal steaming to not have all 8 lit. It's interesting that they're in a combat zone and they've only got half lit. But, you know, she is sustaining operations off Okinawa for close to a month at this point. So you got to shut those things down for maintenance every now and again. Real interesting reading about the material conditions. Yoke, which is why you see the Y's or the Z's or X's written on all the doors around the ship. It basically means that, like, windows are closed, but you can have most of the doors open. And yoke modified often means that you're allowed to have some windows and other things open for better ventilation. This is April, near the equator, so it's probably pretty warm on board the ship. She doesn't have the air conditioning that she would get installed later on in their career. Zebra, of course, is like your general quarters, everything's sealed up. But the fact that it's modified Zebra means that you can still pass through sealed doors, as opposed to if it's general quarters, condition Zebra is set, you have to call Damage Control Central for permission to pass through those doors. So it's interesting, third deck and below, which is basically waterline and down, ship is sealed up. Above, it's normal underway steaming, more or less. Elsewhere on this page, it basically just says steaming as before. So that indicates that the ship is still operating alongside Enterprise, that those two ships are still steaming in formation. New Jersey is one of the anti-aircraft escorts for Enterprise and the other carriers in this group. Unfortunately, this page doesn't say what it is, 58.1 or whatever the task force is, 38.3. Not entirely sure. At this time, Enterprise would have been the flagship of Admiral Mark Mitcher, who had flown his flag on Bunker Hill until she was hit by a kamikaze and forced to go home. So he transfers his flag to Enterprise. Mitcher is in command of Task Force 58, the carriers under Spruance. So that's what we're looking at here. That answers that question. And why Enterprise is the guide ship. Poor Admiral Mitcher, who already lost all of his effects, burned up when Bunker Hill was hit, is going to have to transfer off of Enterprise when she's hit. Now here's where things get confusing. This is April 16th. So 6 days earlier, according to the war log, the ship's World War II cruise book, says that April 10, 1945, at last it came, we were to return to the States for our first overhaul and repair period since leaving Norfolk 18 months before. After countless false alarms, we were really going home. April 16th, that's the day that this is. Admiral Badger transfers his flag off of New Jersey and onto Iowa. So seems like they got the word they were going to leave on April 10th. Now April 16th, Admiral Badger is transferring his flag off. That'll be a couple hours after this deck log, which starts at midnight, so that'll be sometime in the middle of the day. So like right after this, New Jersey's going to head back to the West Coast. And then 5 May 1945, New Jersey will arrive in Puget Sound. A couple of days later, in mid-May 1945, Enterprise is going to get hit by a kamikaze and then head back to Puget Sound, and she'll arrive in mid-June in time to be there for the late June, I think it was June 26th, photographs of the two ships together, New Jersey at the pier and Enterprise in dry dock. Now, it is interesting that this page is the only one we've found so far that lists Enterprise's name, even though we've got photographic evidence that the two ships were near each other at other times. Now, oftentimes that is when they're operating in a fleet of ships, or when they're both in a major anchorage with tons of other ships around them. And so the log reports some of the ships that are closest to New Jersey, but not all of the other ships that are out there. And you can tell from these two pictures of the anchorage that Enterprise and New Jersey aren't all that close together. There's a bunch of other major ships between them. So it's good fortune that Enterprise, despite being older and smaller than the other carriers, is the flagship here briefly in 1945. Because otherwise, if Admiral Mitcher hadn't transferred his flag off of Bunker Hill, Enterprise's name wouldn't have shown up at all. Where else should we look for evidence of Enterprise and New Jersey operating together? We've gone through pictures, we've gone through deck logs. Let us know in the comment section down below if you can think of anywhere else. We have never found any footage of the two ships operating together, even though there's a lot in the National Archives. There is some there that seems to purport to be the two ships, but the timeline just doesn't match up. So I think it's mislabeled like so much stuff is. But let us know in the comment section down below if you can think of anywhere else we should check. Battleship New Jersey receives operating support from the New Jersey Department of State, as well as from a number of other businesses and private individuals like yourselves. We really appreciate your support. There's a link in the description below for ways you can donate to support the museum. You can also support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing so more people find out about the museum and our channel. Thanks for watching.